Hi there. So, this is another episode of Joy's Life Lessons, and today I'll be talking about when darkness gets comforting. I know it sounds funny. How can darkness get comforting? But if we are true to ourselves, darkness is darkness can be comforting. It can make us stop fighting. When I was a little girl, we lived in a bungalow, and at this bungalow we had a front yard, we had a backyard, and so some nights, many nights actually, in that space between dinner and bedtime, my parents, my uncle, the house help, and my siblings and I would sit outside at the backyard and talk. The children would be playing, and so usually, I've always I always get bored easily. After a while, I would go into the house, and usually those times, one thing that makes us come out is because there's no power and the house is hot. So we come to the backyard. We had two mango trees planted there, so we come to the backyard and we get cool breeze. So usually we came out with the lantern, this lantern we had, this old lantern, and that was the only source of lights in the house when there's no power. So after getting bored, usually I'd go inside and I'd sit and I'd sometimes daydream, sometimes I'll sleep off in the dark, only me in the dark house. And I did that for a while. Sometimes they would look out, they'll be searching for me outside, not knowing I had gone inside, and waiting to find me either on the verge of sleeping or actually sleeping. Somehow that disturbed my father, and he didn't understand how I would love going into a dark place. This is a young girl of below 10 years. Understand, you live where the light is or where people are, and you go into the house alone where it's dark and you stay there. But it was my moment of solitude, and I didn't see anything with it. So one day my father asked me, why do you always do that? Why do you always go into the house where it's dark, leaving the lights and people? And I remember answering. I was just saying how I felt. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I was just explaining, and I was quite bored, and I told him that I just felt it didn't make sense that I would have to stay outside where there's still darkness but just the little light of the lamp, and I'll be straining my eyes to kind of create a balance between the light and the darkness, and I just didn't think it was worth it. So I'd rather go inside and just sit in the dark instead of me trying to figure out how to use the lights to beat the looming darkness around, because it's just a small lantern, the small lamp, and the light it gave off. And I won't forget what my father said. My father said, a little light is always better. A little light in the midst of darkness is always better than total darkness. And I nodded my head. Maybe I didn't get it then, but now I do. With life, we have darkness comes in different forms. Understand? In despair, in brokenness, in mediocrity, in pain, in illness, in different ways. There are so many synonyms for darkness in situations like this, and it is tempting. It is tempting to just stay in the darkness. I'm like, okay, I'm done. This is where it is. I am comfortable here. It's not so bad. Instead, those things we tell ourselves to convince us that we do not have to fight, those things are lies. And I will tell you today what my father told me. When you're in such situations, when things are dark, always fight for the light. The darkness may be comforting, but it's still darkness. There's a reason for night and day. The night has to pass. Don't dwell therein. Don't be comfortable there like that is my last bus stop. It's not. Stand, fight for that relief. Fight against the abuse. Fight to get an antitoxin. Fight to get healed. fight to to get your voice heard, fight to get out of that despair. Always fight for the light, because if we ignore the light and just stay there, we are not doing ourselves any good. Not just ourselves, even those who look up to us. And as I said, the darkness is darkness. Darkness is not a good place to be. Your eyes might get adjusted, and you begin to notice a few things and recognize them because your eyes can now see in the dark. Or you are managing, you found a way to work with the darkness. Light is always better. So no matter what's going on, look for that light, discover the light, be the light, focus on the light, and you will find out that the light will magnify, it will get magnified, and it will be definitely better than utter darkness. Definitely. So that's today's life lesson. Always remember that a little light in the midst of darkness is far better than utter darkness. So if you're discouraged about what's going on around you, speak up, make the difference, be the difference, and that is better than nothing. So today, I hope you've learned something. I hope I've given you a reason to fight. I hope I've given you a reason to speak up. I hope I've given you a reason to not get comfortable with the light, no matter how tempting it is to get comfortable. I hope I can have convinced you that the comfort you feel in the darkness is not okay. It's not the best that can be. So fight and get out into the light. I'll see you next time. Bye.